What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Norway's global seed vault. I don't understand what the purpose of this vault is. I remember hearing about this vault very vaguely. I think in another video I had seen a while back. But looking at it now, is this some kind of end of the world preparation? Is this some kind of apocalypse like prevention thing? Doomsday vault where we're putting all the seeds and things that humanity is going to need to survive? Is that actually what this is for? Now, I know Norway is really on top of a lot of the technological advancements, very progressive in creating lots of interesting things, honestly, that you'd never find anywhere in the world. And I think one of them is this global seed vault. I've never heard of anything like this anywhere. So I'm really quite interested to learn about what this is all about and how it was made and what is it for? Well, what's going on here? So let's take a look.
Group on international
Let's rewind it first.
Way up north on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen in the Arctic Svalbard archipelago, nestled deep inside a mountain, lies the Svalbard Global Seed Bank.
Huh?
Just
It sounds very hidden, very secret.
1,300 kilometers from the North Pole, the bunker was created by the Norwegian government in 2008 with the sole purpose of creating a safe haven for the nations of the world to use for long-term seed storage.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's why it was made. Why? Is there more to it than that? Why do we need long-term seed storage of all the seeds in the world? I mean, I guess it's good to have it. Maybe the answer is it's just good to have it. Just in case. Who knows what'll happen? Maybe you just want it. You want a backup. I could get behind that. So this is built in 2008, so that's like 14 years ago. Not all that long ago, honestly.
As well as acting much like an actual bank, the vault itself is designed to withstand climate change, natural disasters, and even the possibility of war.
Wow.
The Svalbard Global Seed Vault was built by and entirely funded by the government of Norway in 2008. Its construction cost 45 million Norwegian kroner, about $8.8 million US.
Okay. That's not even as expensive as I thought it would be. The thing is indestructible. It's made to survive war and climate change. This thing, and it makes sense because you're protecting, seeds, protecting stuff that is really vital to the future, just in case anything happens again. So it makes sense that it's so well protected.
Today, more than 10 years later, the upkeep costs are shared by the Norwegian government and the Crop Trust.
Okay.
The trust receives a great deal of its funding from organizations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop it. Look at this thing. It's it's like a secret lair. It's a secret passage. It goes straight into the mountain. It's like a random door. Look at this thing. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Trust receives a great deal of its funding from organizations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as support from various government bodies worldwide.
Okay.
The vault was started by the Consultative Group on International Agriculture Research, or CGI-AR, along with conservationist Carrie Fowler. Carrie being the former executive director of the Crop Trust. The Crop Trust is the only global organization currently working to effectively preserve crop diversity conservation. We will go deeper into this later on.
Yeah, maybe you need to store and protect all of these different seeds and crops just in case they go extinct or whatever. Nature happens and things go away. Maybe it's just for that reason. You wanna keep samples of everything throughout time.
The main idea of the vault was to create a place in which the nations of the world could send duplicates of their stored seed samples as a backup for the many other gene banks found around the world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know there are a lot of very important crops in the world, and a lot of countries probably store backups of those crops, seeds, just to make sure that they always have them, because they're important to their economy. And this seed vault is like a backup for other nations' backups. So it's like this one and all place where everyone can send backups of their seeds for protection and safekeeping. Okay.
The vault's design ensures the safety of the samples during the event of large-scale global crisis. Svalbard has the capacity to store 4.5 million varieties of seeds and
Wow.
500 of each different variety.
Wow.
This amounts to a total capacity of 2.5 billion seeds. The vault acts like a bank in the sense that the various organizations around the world can make deposits and withdrawals at different times throughout the year.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't realize this was such a global sort of unified production here, where lots of different countries are in communication with Norway on this about holding their seeds.
The vault itself is only visible as a door protruding from the side of a barren mountain on a sparsely populated stretch of Arctic island.
Yeah.
Inside, a lengthy tunnel filled with ventilation piping leads through a series of heavy-duty doors until you reach the three main containment vaults.
I mean, I'm sorry, but this would be the perfect place to run to if, like, God forbid, some kind of apocalypse was happening or something. I'd want to fly here and go down in this tunnel. This seems safe, like a safe place to be.
As you travel deeper into the mountain and further down the hallway, the walls become increasingly coated in frost. Because of where and how the building was constructed, it is theoretically impermeable to bombs and other disasters in the event of a global conflict.
Wow.
On top of this, because the vault was constructed deep within the mountains, permafrost layer is naturally at around -4 or 5 degrees Celsius. This helps preserve the samples stored within. The vaults themselves are kept at a very cool -18 degrees to hinder any degradation to the seeds.
This is so smart. They even built the vault knowing that this would be the perfect place to do it, because it would make regulating the temperature so easy. Plus, it's in the middle of nowhere where no one's gonna get to it.
Even in the event that power was cut off to the facility, it is said to have the capacity to continue operating and maintaining its cool temperatures for up to 100 years.
Wow. Okay.
At the end of 2016, the Arctic Circle reached record temperatures, and in place of what normally would have been light snowfall, Spitsbergen Island experienced rain and melting snow. This eventually caused water to flood into the vault's tunnel entrance and freeze as it flowed through its cold hallways.
Oh.
Although the seeds were left untouched and the Norwegian government was able to chisel out all of the ice, the event raised some serious concerns about the vault's viability in the future, with
Oh, wow. Yeah. Everything's melting and water's flooding the vaults. They never they finally didn't plan for something. Yeah, that's a catastrophe, having to chisel it all away.
current climate change trends. The Norwegian government put forward 100 million kroner, or $13 million US, in order to upgrade the vault and protect it from rising temperatures.
Okay.
A spokesperson from the vault said to The Guardian on the topic, "We'll be tight and dry and will deal with whatever climate change gives us."
Okay.
That being said, the vault originally was left unmanned as it would be during a crisis. Since the flood, however, there is now personnel stationed at Svalbard 24/7.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, they thought this thing would be self-sufficient and nothing could possibly go wrong. And then finally something went wrong, so it's like, this place is so important to so many people, so many countries. I understand, hiring some staff to man it. That makes sense.
why build a doomsday bunker for the world's seeds? Well, one of the most
Yeah, here we go. Why build this? They're finally getting to why build this?
So why build a doomsday bunker for the world's seeds? Well, one of the most prudent answers is fairly obvious. If something were to happen to the world's food supply, such as nuclear war, drought, or disease causing a mass extinction of plant life, we would not last long as a species. So
Okay, there you go. basically what I was joking about. If the apocalypse happened, if the end of the world happened, humanity would need seeds to start agriculture again, to start farming and growing food, literally from scratch. That's actually one of the reasons for this existing, okay?
Having a secure place on Earth that can harbor a backup plan for the very essence of life on this planet is probably in our best interest.
Yeah.
But why it acts as a bank, allowing its depositors to make withdrawals at will, all ties into the same mission as the founding parties, the Crop Trust and Carrie Fowler. Their mission is to educate and advocate for the diversification of plant species within agricultural practices around the world, and not just in the event of a global catastrophe.
Yeah, so some of this is literally just preserving agriculture diversity of plants and seeds that might otherwise have been lost, except we're storing them and keeping them. So we have access to that forever. That's pretty cool.
Carrie Fowler is one of the leading voices today in the field of global food preservation with his career in agricultural research dating back to the 70s. Having served as the head of the Crop Trust from 2005 to 2012, Carrie gained the position necessary to be one of the leading figures in the Svalbard seed vault's development.
Cool.
Under Carrie's tenure as executive director of the Crop Trust, he, along with the combined efforts of seed vaults in over 70 countries, were able to rescue over 80,000 species of crop from extinction.
Wow, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. This vault is literally stopping entire species of plants from going extinct because we're preserving the seeds, so they'll forever have access to them. Maybe they can replicate them, but we'll always have them. They'll never actually be completely extinct, no matter what, which is a really cool concept.
It was under Carrie's term as well that the Millennium Seed Bank of Kew Gardens was founded, as well as the Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research.
Very cool.
Diversity in agriculture and consumer culture in regards to produce is a looming issue that many are currently unaware of. Luckily, people like Carrie Fowler and organizations like CGIAR are on the leading edge of the growing movement. In the past 100 years alone, 93% of fruit and vegetable varieties in North America have become extinct.
What?
Crop Trust and other organizations like it exist through private and government funding and are some of the only institutions attempting to ensure global food security through genetic diversification.
I wonder why 93% of crops have gone extinct. Or how much? 93%, yeah. In a pretty short amount of time.
Attempting to ensure global food security through genetic diversification. Due to rising demand for produce, population growth, and trends in food, farming has changed a lot in past decades. Large-scale corporate-level grocers and food providers expect certain standards from their providers when it comes to fruit or vegetable size, color, or shape, which in turn pushed producers to decrease their crops' diversity in order to foster a consistent product.
Yes, that makes complete sense to me. I've heard about this. Grocery stores, particularly in the United States and probably in a lot of places in the world, they want the perfect watermelon, the perfect orange, the perfectly shaped apple. So farmers are really incentivized to just grow that one type of apple, and which is fine and all, but then if something comes along, some kind of bacteria or whatever, some kind of disease that wipes out your crop, that apple, you don't have any other apple species to go back to grow, to feed people. So it's very dangerous to have only a couple different species of plants feeding the entire world. Because if they go away, there's nothing there to grow. You don't have anything to back it up. No other types of banana or other type of watermelon. So I am actually quite familiar with this idea that you need plant diversity.
Vast amounts of produce end up in the trash every day around the world due to its appearance decreasing its sellability. Although the fruit or vegetable in question does not differ in taste, nutrition, or texture in any way, people
Right.
don't like to buy ugly food. On top of that, consumers have come to expect seeing certain things on their menus or shopping lists, and therefore would be shocked to receive something that did not bear resemblance to what they have come to expect.
Right. Apparently, there's like a bunch of different types of bananas, but in America, we only eat one kind of banana that we know of, the one that we're used to and we expect. But there's tons of types of bananas that we could be taking advantage of, diversity and all that.
For instance, did you know that there are a great deal of different types of carrots, and that they all taste very similar? There are red carrots, purple carrots, white carrots, and yellow carrots, but unless you
Right.
visit a specialty store, you'll only find orange carrots in supermarkets.
Right.
The danger
Right.
in this trend towards uniform produce is that it removes variety from the gene pool found across the region from which the plant in question is grown. This
Yeah.
opens the crop up to being entirely wiped out by a single wave of disease, pests, or insects.
Exactly.
So if an apple farmer grows 500 trees on their farm, they likely grow specifically one type of apple throughout the whole farm.
Yeah.
This is because it is also likely that they could sell their entire crop to a single buyer with more ease.
Yeah.
However, if an insect that specifically ate that type of apple came through the region, the farmer would lose their entire crop in one sweep.
Yeah. It's very dangerous to only have one type of crop feeding so many people. But it's so common, and the farmers are really incentivized to do it that way, unfortunately.
So if instead of farming a single variety of apple, the farmer instead planted 5 different types of trees on their property, they not only have created an insurance policy for themselves, but they've also contributed to increased biodiversity.
Yeah.
This philosophy is essentially the agenda that the Crop Trust is pushing by educating farmers on the importance of biodiversity and supporting seed exchange programs around the world.
Okay. Good.
There are currently around 1,700 different seed banks and vaults around the world, and in 2012, the International Center for Agricultural Research in the Dry Areas, or ICARDA, withdrew around 150 boxes of seeds from the Svalbard Global Seed Vault.
You know, I really never realized that this was so common. But when you think about it, it makes so much sense. This is probably applicable to so many different fields of science and technology, where there's stuff like this that I just never thought about. But it makes total sense that there would be backup seed vaults all throughout the world. It's very interesting.
Because the organization's headquarters were moved from Aleppo to Beirut due to the civil war in Syria. Since then, they have started to replenish their stores within the bank. Currently, the bank holds seeds from 76 different depositors or countries. There are over 6,000 species of seeds and over 1 million seed deposits. Within the vaults, the
Wow.
seeds are stored in an array of boxes, all slightly different and labeled with the country of origin and deposit information.
Okay.
Included within, there are even 6 boxes submitted by the DPRK, or Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The
Wow.
Vault website includes a complete roster of the various depositors involved and what they have deposited.
Wow, it really is, really is like a bank. A big, seedy bank.
Interestingly, the Norwegian government included in their terms for depositing in the bank that no genetically modified or narcotic seeds were allowed to be contained within.
Oh.
Norway, along with much of Europe, takes a stronger stance against GMO produce, which is likely the reasoning behind their exclusion from eligibility.
Okay.
Large agricultural corporations today modify plant genetics for a wide array of reasons. Some modifications remove seeds from fruit or create vegetables and fruits that can grow to many times their natural size.
Exactly. I was going to say, watermelons in the United States, you can buy it without seeds. But a watermelon with no seeds doesn't even make sense. How would the watermelon reproduce more watermelon without seeds? It's not natural. Yes, there's lots of genetic modification of fruits and vegetables going on.
These modifications are generally in the interest of creating a more desirable product in the grocery store. Before the public eye began shedding light on what exactly companies like Monsanto were doing to plants, consumers would be hard-pressed to not buy the tomato that was 2 times as large as its organic counterpart for the same price.
Yeah.
However, with health trends pushing educated consumers more and more towards organic, locally grown produce, people like Carrie Fowler hope to see GMO products become less and less popular.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a lot more education on this in the last few years in the United States, but I still think, by and large, we have no idea if the fruit and vegetables in our grocery stores are genetically modified or not. And I think most people in the United States honestly don't care enough to not buy the gigantic, huge pepper.
And along with them, an increased level of organic diversity within grocery stores.
Yeah.
The Vavilov Institute of Plant Industry is the oldest seed bank in the world and is located in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Okay.
It was originally created in 1894 by Nikolai Vavilov, of which the institution is named after. Nikolai was one of the first scientists in the world to recognize the importance of genetic diversity in agriculture, and is credited for being one of the original voices that brought attention to the subject. Today, the facility is the only one of its kind in Russia, and much like many other seed vaults around the world, contains thousands of specimens.
Yeah.
In the UK, you can find the Millennium Seed Bank, inside of which they have successfully housed every single native species of plant to the country, including a few hundred endangered species.
Oh, they have collected every single native plant in their entire country. Their entire country's plant species has been forever preserved in their plant bank, their seed vault. Wow.
Around the world, scientists and farmers are working to further our understanding of renewable agriculture. Seed exchanges take place in cities and towns around the globe all the time. Farmers will organize events, and various workers of the agriculture business all gather and exchange seeds.
Oh.
The events act as a platform to educate, as well as a marketplace to help farmers increase the biodiversity of their own plantations or farms.
Wow.
And on smaller scales, inner-city growers and hobby gardeners are beginning to cultivate more and more of their own produce with rising costs of food. These seed exchanges work in the same way on a smaller scale. Gardeners will harvest seeds from their crops, dry them, and bring them to locally organized events to make trades.
Okay.
Consumer awareness when it comes to grocery shopping is probably the most effective tool we have in preserving our world's edible plant biodiversity.
Yeah.
If you're interested in helping to increase agricultural diversity and...
Yeah, I mean, there's been a push for more education on this. There's without a doubt, there's been an effort to do that.
The process help to preserve our world's food supply for tomorrow's generation. It can be as simple as making small changes to your buying habits. Buy your produce from farmers markets when you can. Buy the less pretty vegetables in your local grocer over the shiny, pretty ones.
Yeah, in the United States, we call it a Whole Foods market or Whole Foods store, where it's an entire grocery store dedicated to non-genetically modified fruits, very natural fruits and vegetables, the whole store. But only a select amount of people go there. And they're pretty niche. Like, a lot of Americans don't go to the Whole Foods store. They just go to the regular grocery store still.
And most importantly, keep yourself informed. You can also participate in or organize seed exchanges if you garden.
Yeah.
Whether or not you are a farmer or a gardener or simply a consumer, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault was built in the interest of humans in general.
Yes.
Hopefully the vault itself will never need to have its strength tested against a global crisis. But in the event that it does, we should all sleep a little easier, knowing that there are people out there looking out for the better interests of our food supply.
Yeah, true. Wow, that was fascinating. That was by The Richest. I liked that. I liked that a lot. That was fascinating. Man, I was a little confused at first about this global seed vault and its purpose. But honestly, I think I found out the purpose is kind of what I thought. It's Well, it's got a couple different purposes. One is, hey, in case the world comes to an end, in case things get really bad and our crops get wiped out, our plants get destroyed, humanity will need a backup seed vault full of all the different diversity of plants that we need to survive. So that's fantastic, and it sounded a little silly to me at first, and now I'm just happy it exists. Now I'm like, yeah, this is great. We need this. I'm glad there are people much smarter than me on top of this, doing this, and all over the world, too. I think that's fantastic. I'm very happy about that. And the other reason is this phenomenon across the world of only growing a couple species of fruits and vegetables. I know this is really common in the United States, and if we ever got a pest or insect plague or disease that wiped out our apple, the one species of apple we use, or the one species of banana that we use, it would kill every single one. Every one, because we don't have enough diversity in our plant life. So this is an effort to well, save that diversity, for one thing, and it's kind of up to all of us to spread that education about it in America, spread that education in particular so that people are aware of it, and maybe it can start to change. But if it can't, I'm glad we have this vault. I really am. It's pretty amazing structure too. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, places, things that I've never seen in Norway, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.